And now, independent and unbiased, here's your weekly Brooklyn market update with Noah and John from UrbanDigs.
Hello, everybody. This is Noah and John, and we are from UrbanDigs. And Happy New Year! And we wish everybody a happy, healthy, and very prosperous 2023, Johnny. And let's get going right now with the Brooklyn weekly market update, Johnny. I'm going to go right to it and look at Brooklyn supply. It's at a low level to start this year, 2,746. Johnny, show me them charts.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to do any kind of week-over-week comparisons here on supply. I mean, it's essentially flat. Really, the comparison you want to make is to where was the supply last year at this time, and it's down. No, it's down about 14 or so percent compared to where it was last January. And you can kind of look, you can kind of see how that supply really tapered off at the end of the year, and we're kind of in a stabilization mode here on supply. Maybe a little too early to call here, but supply in Brooklyn remains lower than you would expect.
Yeah, we're starting off the year at a low level. We're definitely down. I would expect us to start rising from here. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to go into that listing season. And once you get into the end of January and early February, that listing season should be gearing up month after month to its peak around March, April. So I would expect to see this number start to rise. We'll keep an eye on it and see if that starts next week or the following week. In the meantime, let's shift to demand, Brooklyn demand, pending sales. 1,640 things waiting to close. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, and again, I'm here. I want to take the more year-over-year approach versus the weekly approach. So, but let's focus on that micro for a second. Where is it right now? I mean, you can really see the difference between those little bars here versus where those lines are, and you can kind of see toward the end of the year last year that pending sales numbers just rolling over and kind of falling here. It seems to be on a bit of a flat line, and indeed we're up 1% or so from the week before, but the real thing, Noah, again, is year over year, and we're down roughly 38 or so percent, almost 40% if you just want to round it and be convenient from the year ago prior. And that is the bit of a problem for the market these days.
Yeah, and that's what we try to talk about, guys. This is a demand shift versus a supply shift. Supply, they're both going down. They're both going down, but one of them is going down a little more than the other when you look at year over year. And of course, you're comparing to pretty record years. So these numbers are going to be dramatic. And, you put these two together and you still got a market pulse around the 0.6 range, Johnny. And if I go to that chart really quick, it's creeping higher. Buyers never really, Buyers never really got into the zone down here. They briefly ticked over here, and it's been going higher, probably because the lack of supply is my guess. And we'll see what happens as we go into the active season. Let's go to the weeklies right over now and see what's going on, see if there's any clues over there. I look at supply. It looks like it's starting for Brooklyn, 163 on a weekly basis. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, it's starting to kick into gear. But again, I mean, you look at where it was last year, and it was, we're still down 40% on a weekly level in terms of what was coming on at this point last year. So, to get to your point about market pulse, the buyer's market, that has to be kind of pressured by supply. And looking here, it's just not coming on at that pace that's needed to push this market pulse lower.
Yeah, you look at 163, you look at plus 279%, and you just naturally think, oh, wow, that's a big number. But it's not. It's down, relative speaking, year over year. So thank you for pulling that out. Take a look at contract signed, Johnny. Do the same thing for demand. You got 104. It looks like it's picking up. Is that a good number or is it not? Johnny, tell us what you see.
I mean, is it a great number? No, it's not great. It's certainly not anything near where we were in the peak. But if you just draw your eye to the right of the screen, I mean, we're kind of back where we were in the fall busy season here, Noah, right? I mean, we had a little bit of a spark up in, late October and through November, but, granted those numbers quickly fell back below 100. So to get back over that 100 mark, I mean, that's sort of a step in the right direction here for Brooklyn, but again, still down roughly about 35% on a year over year basis. And again, if you put supply and demand in the same bucket and weigh them, the supply is down. What do we say it was down on the yearly basis? 40%, whereas contract signs are down, on a weekly basis, 35%. So supply, it's still balanced in favor of a stronger market pulse here.
Yeah, and I look at both. You add these two together, 104 and 94 off market. The contract signed and the off market, you add that up, it's still higher than the weekly supply. So there's still a net deficit going on. So I expect that to turn around. And that's when you're going to probably see some differences in the pulse once this listing season gets going, unless deal volume rises, of course. But, that's the number you got to look at, guys. This deal volume number, this 104, that's a weekly number. You could click on 1 month right over here, and you can see the 30-day number. That's 383. Now you take that 383, that's going to tell you everything about how strong of an active season we got ahead of us. How far does this go? Where should it go? And when you look at the chart of that number and you think, well, what was that number 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? This is that chart. And as you can see, we're way down over here, okay? We're not up there. We are way down over here. And we've been going down consistently. So I don't want to Pollyanna the situation, okay? We are starting off 2023 from very low transactional levels. What's incredible to me, John, is that price action has not followed that relative suit. Price action's down. It's just not down drastically. It's transaction volume that's down drastically.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, if you look at where we are right now, we're right around that 400 line, which is kind of where it was right at the end of 2020. And if, it's already sort of distant memory, right? The post-pandemic reopening of the market in July, and, how that Brooklyn really led the way. And what seemed fast and furious at the end of 2020, right? We went from, down from 100 all the way up to 800. We're sort of right in the middle of that recovery level. So, but the problem is here now, Noah, we're on the downside.
Yeah. And you know what? I would not expect this number to start ticking up until at least probably end of February, early March or so. So you got a couple of months. First, the stuff comes on, then the stuff goes to contract. Anyway, Johnny, thank you for pulling up all of this data. That is John Walkup. I am Noah Rosenblatt. We're both from UrbanDigs. Don't forget, you guys got questions. We got answers. Just visit our forum right down over there. And if you want any of the reports that John printed up today, they'll be right over here in just a few moments. Other than that, this has been your weekly Brooklyn market update, and we'll catch you next time.